Welcome to Independence Nation on the Light of Life Network. It's good to be back here with you on Blog Talk Radio as we have just relaunched our Blog Talk Radio, our efforts on Blog Talk Radio. So it's good to be back with you on Blog Talk Radio, as well as you can find us on the website www.lolmin.org. You can also find us on YouTube at YouTube/iNation channel. So once again, you can find us on Blog Talk Radio as we are here live today, and we are recording in the studio. You can also find us on our website www.lolmin.org, and you can find us on YouTube at YouTube/iNation channel. So today I want to talk about a few things in the news, and there's so much in the news to get to, and it's hard to exactly get to all the news. We only have a little half-hour slot here, and we try to get everything in, but we will be giving you the latest news of what's going on across the country and around the world, and it's just so good to be back here with you. So today I want to talk about this Fight for 15, this hashtag Fight for 15 that's gone viral, and the fast food workers that are ready to strike for higher wages across the country. And it's about time that they had higher wages. It's about time that they got unionized and got together and to fight for what's right, and what's right is a higher wage for these hard-working people that keep the retail and fast food industries going. Now, an article reads here, Fight for 15, fast food workers to strike for higher wages across the U.S. Hundreds of fast food workers from MacDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and KFC are planning a big protest on Thursday, that is September the 4th, that is, in an effort to boost the minimum wage to $15 per hour. The rally will include acts of civil disobedience. The rally was announced by Fight for 15, a union of fast food and retail workers, which is seeking a $15 hour living wage. And that's, I mean, who could ask? I mean, they're not asking for much here. They work hard. They're asking for a $15 an hour wage, which is quite doable by these companies. It goes on to say here, it's official. We're going on strike again on September 4th, wrote Fight for 15 in Chicago on Twitter. The hashtag Fight for 15 has already gone viral on Twitter, with many internet users pledging support for the protest. The organizers said the rallies are planned to be held in more than 100 cities across the country. This time, workers will be peacefully engaged in acts of civil disobedience, said Kendall Fells, an organizing director for Fast Food Forward. They're going to use nonviolent civil disobedience as a way to call attention for what they're facing, Mary Kay Henry, president of Service Employees International Union, one of the sponsors, told New York Times. They're invoking civil rights here to make the case that jobs ought to be paid $15 and the companies ought to recognize a union, and which is very much needed. As you know, may already know, in the past that these workers have been kind of gypped out of vacation hours and such, and working hours, gypped out of money. So this has legitimate. It is completely legitimate. They need to be unionized, and these companies need to recognize that they need a higher wage, much higher than, I believe, minimum wage is $7.25 per hour. So they need. They may not come to agreement on $15, but you have to agree that they definitely need a higher wage. Now, it goes on to say here, the workers involved in the rally are ready to be arrested as they try to get their message across. the organizers for Fight for $15 movement said. Now, the fast food campaign is aimed at bringing attention to the problems fast food workers face, which few customers think about while buying burgers and French fries. Catherine Fisk, a professor of labor law at the University of California, weighed in as saying, California in Irvine. The goal is to persuade workers that it doesn't have to be this way. The goal is to persuade consumers it doesn't have to be this way, she said. This is about getting attention to the issue. So you have to admit that there is great need for these workers to have a higher wage. And before we get more into this issue, I want you to know our call-in line is 646-716-8075. Once again, that's 646-716-8075. Do call it in. We want to hear your what you think about this situation. We want to hear what you think about. Do they deserve a higher wage? Do they deserve the minimum wage at $7.25 per hour? Or do they deserve the $15 per hour? So once again, our call-in line is 646-716-8075. Now, there was a few people that weighed in on the situation on the Fight for $15. Douglas Hunter, a fast food worker, who has worked for the MacDonald's for 5 years, told the Chicago Tribune on Monday that he is really struggling trying to make ends meet. And I can't blame him for saying that, coming out and saying it. $7.25 an hour, you can't raise your children, you can't have a good life. It goes on to say here in quotes, I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to get McDonald's to the table to discuss increasing my pay to $15 an hour, end quote. So it may start out peacefully at this time and may start out peacefully, but sooner or later, these people are going to say to themselves, we need a higher wage. We need $15 per hour. We definitely need more than $7.25, and we cannot raise our families this way. And the protest could turn, in the future, could turn violent. Excuse me for a moment. While I take a quick swig of water there. Now, according to the National Restaurant Association, the protests are the union's attempt to boost their dwindling membership. The industry lobbying group said it hopes that organizers of the rallies will respect both customers and workers during their demonstrations. So you have the industry saying that it's only about the union and it's not about the workers. Well, I can't say that the companies are about the workers at all, because how can you know your people are struggling on $7.25 per hour and you do nothing for them, no wage attempt whatsoever? And this is not the first strike that they have attempted. This is not the first strike that has gone on. Matter of fact, here it says here that May 15th they had declared a global day of solidarity for fast food workers in the 150 U.S. cities and 33 countries worldwide, who held rallies in an effort to boost the minimum wage to $15 per hour. So they had one also back in May 15th. Spanning 5 continents, the global movement brought together thousands of employees from the industry's heavy hitters who have not only revolutionized the way the world eats, but are now an integral part of the labor market, meaning McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and KFC. So this is not the first time that they've gotten together concerning this issue, definitely needing a higher wage. Once again, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from those fast food workers out there, those in the retail industry. Once again, you can give me a call at 646-716-8075. Again, that's 646-716-8075. So let's get into this minimum wage here. So the federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour for fast food workers, which was last raised in 2009. On February 12th, President Obama, responding to the heat in the fast food kitchen, agreed to raise the minimum wage for federal employees to $10.10 an hour. And that's good that he would want to spark a pay and from the minimum wage, but that was only for federal employees. That doesn't meet the needs of those who are in the fast food industry and the retail, those retail workers that are in dire need of attention right now. And so they have to get out and they have to protest and strike in front of their respected places of business and try to get something resolved in this situation. So we're going to go to break here, and we're going to come back and talk more about this issue. Once again, the call-in line is 646-716-8075. Stay with us right here on Independence Nation.
Welcome back To Independence Nation on the Light of Life Network. If you just tuned in, we're talking about here the Fight for 15. And if you want to learn more about the workers, the fast food workers, they're planning to strike on September the 4th. Here this Thursday, you can log on to fightfor15.org. Now, to think on this situation, we have to look at the other end of the spectrum, that nearly half of the U.S. unemployed have given up on looking for a job. So on one end of the spectrum, you have workers fighting for a decent and the right type of wage, the wage that they should have, and they're not getting those wages. We have a minimum wage that's outdated at $7.25 per hour. Even if that being raised doesn't supplement these people's income, and they're in dire need of a $15 an hour wage. They work hard, and they need that pay increase. So at one end, once again, if you want to learn more about that strike and the protests going on, you can log on to fightfor15.org. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, we have that the unemployed have given up looking for a job. It shows here in the article, nearly half of unemployed Americans are on the verge of completely giving up on looking for a job, a new survey found. It says here that over the past 12 months, a number of long-term unemployed, those unemployed for 27 weeks or more, has decreased by 908,000, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, it shows also here that the civilian labor force dropped by 806,000 in April, following an increase of 503,000 in March. The labor force and participation rate fell by 4% percentage points to 62.8% in April. The jobless rate nationwide dropped to 6.3% months back. That's months back. And that was the lowest since 2008. Now, it shows also here that as the nation added 288,000 jobs, according to the government, that obviously we're not, obviously those numbers can't be right. It says here that the nation added 288,000 jobs, yet you still have scores of people lined up for one job. You may get, in some cases I've seen where 1,000 plus people that are in a line for one job. And of course, it may not be that bad right now, but you still have a number of people out of work, and you have nearly half of the population, half of the unemployed population, just giving up altogether. Now, it shows also here, and I want to hear from you. I want to hear from our listeners. I want to hear what you have to say about the Fight for 15, the organization fighting for fast food workers to have a decent, livable wage so they can raise their children, they can pay their bills, and not have to be completely in debt and living off of government assistance. Now, I want to hear you weigh in on this situation. Once again, the call-in number is 646-716-8075. Once again, that's 646-716-8075. Now, we did try to get in touch with the fightfor15.org. Excuse me, and also the press that is associated with Fight for 15. Of course, we couldn't get anyone on the line, but we're still going through with this article because it's very important. It's very important because I know what it's like to have a low wage and to not be able to take care of my family like I wanted to, not be able to take care of my daughter, and it doesn't feel good to wonder, how am I going to feed my baby next? How am I going to feed myself? How am I going to look in the eyes of your spouse and say, this is it, baby. This is what we got, and this is what we have to do. I know what it means to be in that predicament, and it doesn't feel good at all. We need to fight for their right for a higher wage. Like I said, they're at what, above, they may be above $7.25, and that may be antiquated, but they're certainly not at the point that they're asking for at the $15. And perhaps these companies need to get together, the Burger Kings, the MacDonald's, the Wendy's, the KFCs, and look at their all the millions or multi-millions, even billions of dollars that they're making, and say we need to treat our people a little better, and we need to fight for our people who are there day in and day out to serve the public, and they do a great job. And I have to say they do an outstanding job, and they deserve a wage hike. And this is something that the president needs to get on, and Congress needs to get on, to come together to cause there to be some type of hike in the minimum wage, as a lot of these wages are so antiquated, they go back 20, 30 years. And so you can't expect that as our products go up, as our everything, the cost of living goes up 3 to 5% every year, you have this wage that stays antiquated year after year, and this is just ridiculous. It should be a no-brainer to have a pay and raise for those who do well for your company and basically represent your company well day in and day out for millions and millions. I think it was McDonald's that was in the paper, and they said that they had a sign that said, "We have served billions." Well, not you actually. Your people served billions, and you basically you got the pay from it. You got the big bonus from it. But you still have your people at a low minimum wage, and it's time to do something for the people, and it's about time that the people spoke out and they got the union involved. So, but you still have that the people are giving up. The people are giving up because it's just gotten to be ridiculous. There are very scarcely employment out there. There are very few jobs. But then those jobs that have come back into the economy as the higher wage jobs have left, these lower wage jobs have seemed to increase, and it just can't stand. It cannot continue. We must fight for the people, for the fast food workers, for those in the retail jobs to have a higher wage. Now, to get back to some more statistics here, it says, but many jobless Americans are reluctant to make significant changes to boost their chances of landing a job. Now it says here only 13% of the survey's respondents have actually pursued more education, and they are unwilling to relocate. It says here 44% of respondents said they are unwilling to relocate to a new town, while 60% said they are unwilling to relocate to a new state. These numbers include 57% and 72% respectively of those unemployed 2 years or longer. So it's hard to embrace change. It's hard to embrace the fact that the company that you work for, they have it in mind to make millions and billions of dollars, while you struggle week to week, month to month to feed your children. So it's hard to embrace change, but at some point we have to accept the fact that there must be change, and that you may have to go and go back to school and to seek more education. And that's just a fact. Those statistics show those who have education end up with more money in life than those who don't. and those who graduate from college end up with more money than those who don't. And so we have to take into account those statistics and to embrace that there's something we have to do. I know many of you know I like to talk about biblical studies. It talks about the monks had a saying of orare et laborare, meaning that pray and to work. They had praying time, and they put so much time to praying, but they put so much time to work as well, knowing that they had to work behind what they've been praying for, because faith without works is dead faith. So you have to get to work on what you've been praying for. So that's what I like to call it. Orare et laborare. They call it pray and to work, but I like to call it to pray and then get to work on what you've been praying for. And in doing so, you might have to get some more education. You may also have to move to a new location. That may be the actual very thing to do to lift your family up, to get you out of poverty, get you on your road to financial prosperity, to relocate to a new town or perhaps to a new state. And I know that there are various jobs going on in North Dakota right now, and I've had several friends that moved to North Dakota. So if you're looking for a job, they have a lot of jobs going on in North Dakota, and so you may find one that suits your background. So I am still waiting to hear from you. We only got a couple minutes left. Once again, the call-in number is 646-716-8075. Once again, that's 646-716-8075. We're talking about the Fight for 15, the fast food workers planning to strike on Thursday, September the 4th, just here in a couple days. And they plan to strike in solidarity to let the companies know that they must be respected and that they need a higher wage, and they're asking for the $15 an hour wage. And once again, they are now are unionized, and that they plan to invoke their civil rights and to get recognized, to make sure that they are heard and they are paid that respectable amount of $15 an hour. So we're almost out of time here, but before we go, I just wanted to say thank you for stopping by and listening to what we had to say here on Independence Nation. We do have a news brief here. It shows here that there has been a second American journalist beheaded by ISIS terrorists. You can find that all over the web. Once again, there's been a second U.S. journalist, second American journalist beheaded by ISIS terrorists. So once again, I just want to tell you, thank you for being a part of Light of Life. I mean, we have really enjoyed being here and delivering the information to you, delivering the news to you. Once again, before I go, I just want to say again that if you want to be a part of the Fight for 15, fightfor15.org, you can find them right there, www.fightfor15.org. They are coming together in solidarity to fight for the $15 an hour wage, and you can be a part of it. You can be a part of history to let these companies know, the MacDonald's, the Burger Kings, the Wendy's, the KFCs, to let them know that they must to raise the minimum wage to this $15 an hour, which is a more respectable wage for these fast food workers and retail workers. And on the other end of the spectrum, you must be willing to get some education. You might have to move to a new town, or you might even have to move to a new state, as I spoke to you and said that North Carolina or North Dakota is now offering jobs. So it's Keith Pitch from Independence Nation. I hope to see you next time right here on the Independence Nation, where we'll deliver you more important information.